Johnson from New Sky Consulting, and you're watching the CATS channel supporting young people with disabilities to live their best and brightest life. So we're talking about choosing a post-school service provider, and when making big decisions around supports and support services, it can be really tempting to use your checklist that you've identified to end up choosing what you can see as the brightest or the biggest or the shiniest or the newest or the most raved about service of them all. But does the biggest, brightest, shiniest and most raved about service, does that service really fit you best? Earlier I shared with you my experience about seeking out a training provider to help me get some new skills. Now, I ended up with a really good shortlist of services that ticked off all my checklist, and I ended up with the choice between two services. And when I looked at them and the research I'd done, it looked very much like they did exactly the same thing. There didn't seem to be much difference between them at all. So I started to ask myself, does it really matter which one I choose? Well, the answer to that is yes, it absolutely matters, because even though those two look very, very similar and they seem to tick all the same boxes and they seem to say that they would deliver the exact same thing, well, no two services are exactly the same. None. No two services deliver things in exactly the same way or have the exact same values and philosophies or do the exact same things. They're all different. So fit, when you're talking about choosing a service for a young person about to leave school who needs additional supports, fit is absolutely essential when it comes to making that choice. Now, getting the right fit is not an exact science. It's very intangible and it will be different for everybody. What's a good fit for me may not be the right fit for you. But we're talking about entrusting our young people with a good fit service. So it's important to do this right. And in my years of experience, fit has been described in a range of different ways. And here's some of the ways that I've heard a good fit being described. I've heard people say that a good fit is when we've got aligned values, that what I value is the same as what the service values. And they're aligned. We believe in the same things. I've heard people describe good fit as we get along really well. Some people say good fit is where you have the shared priorities. So what I consider as being really, really top of the scale, number one important, is very much the same as the services. Something I've heard a lot is where people say, you know what, it was a good fit because we just clicked. It just naturally felt like we clicked. Many people have described good fit around, I can see this working for us. I can see it. And probably one of the most commonly described feelings and sense of fit I've heard is, it just feels right. I can't put my finger on any one thing, just the whole thing just feels right. Now, the magic of fit really lies in when I like what I see, I like what I hear, and I like what I feel, all come together and overlap at the one time. You know, it's like you get green light after green light after green light, and your gut tells you, yeah, this is right. This sense of alignment is right. So in summarising, fit is not an exact science, and it's very intangible and it's very different for people, but it's very important. I know that when you're going through the process of choosing a service provider in post-school, that you're going to come up against they all look very much the same. They all say the same thing. They all look like they do the same thing. So how am I supposed to choose when they tick all the boxes for those things? Well, fit, how you feel. And it will be different for everybody. And no two services are exactly alike. They really aren't. And neither should they be, because everybody's different and needs different things, and only you will be able to tell which one is the best fit for your son or daughter, for your family, and with the service. So when they all look the same and you don't know what to do, start to think fit. Start to get that sense of alignment and connection and where it really lies, and go with that one. Because at CATS, we know and we want to have that fit. It is good for services to have families and people that they support, particularly, to have the right fit. We get the best outcomes when that happens. So at CATS, because we know fit is so important, that's one of the reasons why we developed this ebook, this free guide on how to choose a post-school support service, to help families figure out what to look for, where to look, what questions to ask, and how to go about it. I've put the link below, and I invite and welcome you to download that free ebook for your perusal and for your own guide. And I wish you all the best, and I hope that it gives you the confidence you need to move forward. Well, that's all for today. I will be back next week talking more about how to choose a post-school support service. Thanks for joining me, and remember, we all deserve to live our best and brightest lives. Thank you. Bye.